am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for battle.
Choose a side in the Clone Wars.
But yeah, he's known to be quite antagonistic and cause problems. He's fought with Ollie Reed and a few other people.
Yeah.
So Fred Wolf, who plays the sheriff in this, who all the way through have an issue with each other. He's the sheriff. He's a bounty killer. Got proper issues. Apparently, Klaus Kinski said some very unfavourable things about Jewish people, specifically to Fred Wolf, who is Jewish. And
fucking hell.
And I won't repeat what he said because it's horrendous. From these are quotes, but I don't know how true they are. But apparently, this was said because it was to give Fred Wolf inspiration to be mean to his character Loco.
So the director Sergio Corbucci probably goaded him into it, didn't he?
I don't know if that's the fact.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll never get an answer for it, but
I know Klaus Kinski has a history of being difficult. On set with actors, with directors, with anybody in particular. So that could be off his own back, could be who knows. But basically, he apparently said some things. But again, I can't confirm that or deny that. I only found that fact on one website, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We found I'm surprised how much information I found on these films. You know, how many facts I found, because they have been so hard to get hold of because they've been locked away for so long. I mean, it's just a testament to again, we'll mention Tarantino.
Very surely.
Utilizing these films for his own influences. It's probably opened doors, to a lot of information that was no longer accessible at all. Yeah, I mean, any information that I have found, I've been like, okay, I can't really find any sort of hardcore evidence to suggest this happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is interesting that
it's the same with the shooting. I only really found that on one website.
Exactly.
But I do like that fact about. I think we've got to talk about the ending. I think.
Yeah, so everything builds up from that sequence.
One sequence.
Where he throws the cigar into the glass, because literally Silence is exposed then, isn't he? He's exposed because, everybody knows that he won't draw his gun first.
Never.
And Loco uses that to his advantage. Ultimately makes Silence betray his own principles at the end of the film. That's what I got from it, is literally Loco's played it to a point where he knows Silence will draw his gun first and he will pay for it. And it happens to devastating effect. So basically, Silence is, again, broken, isn't he? He's broken. Yeah. He's left completely mangled.
Yeah, similar situation to Django, the end of Django.
Yeah, he's completely mangled. How is he mangled? I can't.
So they shoot both his. So
that's it.
So he goes.
Silence's thing is to shoot people's thumbs off, so they can't
that's
utilize
right.
gun properly.
So Polycut gets his thumb shot off. And reveals himself to have known Silence.
And
Silence hunted him down when he was an adult. Shot his thumb off for killing his dad and his mum. And that's why he's kept Loco out of jail and around,
because he knows Silence
is, when he finds him, he's going to kill him. Loco comes out, looks like a fair gunfight. Loco gets his men to shoot both his hands. And unable to defend himself, is killed. Then,
I mean, the standoff at the end is beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful. So Silence is clearly, he can't win. There's no way he can win.
No.
But it plays that thing of the hero's going to win. And Silence, he's lost both his use of his hands. I think he's been shot or, been severely damaged, hit somewhere else on his body.
I think
he's been slowly trying to come back around.
He's been injured throughout the film.
I mean, Silence goes through a lot. He's completely ruined by the end of the film. And he literally turns up at this place. All the bandits that were, that obviously not bandits, they've all been captured finally by Loco's gang, and Loco pulls them into this saloon and keeps them all tied up and everything. And Silence, obviously in the hero aspect, goes to try and rescue them. He feels he has no other choice. And unfortunately, Loco's pre-planned this. He knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Loco comes out to meet him, stands in the doorway and just stares at him. And he stares at him. And my God, there's a mixture of every single brilliant facet of this film. You have the wind, you have the score, which hits a crescendo. It hits an absolute crescendo of, like, you know, the violins are just absolutely piercing and beautiful, and they reverberate across the entire screen and in your speakers, in your head. And you have both of these men, Silence and Loco, staring each other out. And you have Silence who's clearly, he's not there. He's not entirely there anymore. He's lost immediately before he even goes to draw.
Yeah.
And you have Loco just staring, and he's got those piercing blue eyes.
Yeah.
And that hair. It's literally, it's one of the most perfect standoff sequences I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's hard to describe in pure, you know, words how brilliant it looks, because every single moment of that sequence is dialed up perfectly. And this is the evolution of Sergio Corbucci from Django into this film, which is only 2 years. You can tell the craft is that much more brilliant. It's that much more poetic. It's not bombastic. This is literally emotion. Emotion runs through it, because you can tell there is something in Loco where he's like, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't draw your gun, because Loco's stood there, slightly slouching against the door frame going, I know you're going to do it, but don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. But Silence, bound by his own sort of necessity to do the right thing, ultimately costs everything. And it does cost everything.
Absolutely.
He breaks his own mantra of not drawing first. He goes to draw. He's never going to get there first. Immediately, a guy from a window shoots him, and then Loco casually finishes him off with a shot to the head. And it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific, because the hero is dead.
Yeah.
The hero is fucking dead straight away. Literally, completely dead. And when I watched it, I went, I was on my own in the house, and I went, holy shit. I verbally said that out loud. I went, holy shit. I did not see that coming. But then to top it off, what happens then? He turns around, Loco and his entire gang, and they massacre every single person from the bandit gang. They massacre them. There's no words. One man goes, no, please don't do this. You don't have to do this. And they kill everyone. Loco and his gang of hunter-killers, whatever they are, they kill every single person. And there are women in that scene. There were children originally, but obviously no children in that sequence. I remember seeing children in the gang, the bandit gang, as they're roaming the hills. They're taken out because they all get massacred, and it's horrifying. And at that moment, I knew why the film had been banned or locked away, because it is literally, it's not a case of they all fire single shots.
No.
Loco's gang.
It's not like you see the violence of the act. It's just knowing the act itself takes place.
Yeah, I mean they literally, they don't hold back either. They're literally, like I said, there's no single shots. They empty every single weapon they have. All the gang, they have the rifles. They're all in close proximity as well. And these people are still tied up to this bar, to banisters. Some of them are holding, like, they're held up by their hands, almost like on on a cross, if you like, and they all get obliterated, and it's horrifying, it's horrific, and it's bleak, and the film ends there.
And do you know the most tragic aspect of that? It's all legal.
Yeah,
it's literally
legal
massacre.
Yeah, it's a legal massacre because they've been hired to kill every single one of them. They even say, we'll get a decent amount of money for all these.
We'll leave the bodies as they are. We'll come back from later.
But it's horrific. That's it. It's horrific. But that is the ambiguity of the fucking film.
Yeah. And it's just the casual nature of
Loco doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He just turns around. One guy jumps over a bar.
Yeah.
And they turn around and they literally and the sound, the music stops, which is brilliant. The score ceases because the hero's gone.
Yeah.
The score stops, and it is literally just all you get is the sounds of the rifles and the pistols, the revolvers going and they're all. It's you can't describe how brutal that ending is. You really can't.
There's
There's no gore. There's no gore.
Absolutely no.
But there's glasses popping everywhere. There's windows breaking. People are flailing left, right, and centre.
It's like the St. Valentine's Day massacre or something like that. It's on that level of. But this time, technically, they're not innocent. They're not innocent, but they are innocent.
Yeah,
because
they're desperate people.
Corrupt people have made them become criminals.
Yeah.
That they have been forced to do what they had to do to survive. And they are legally branded as criminals, but they're kind of innocent as well.
Yeah.
And again, it's a legal massacre. Like, it's totally within the rules of the bounty killers. The bounty
because
hunters,
they're doing the job.
Because that's
dead or alive.
We've been hired to do.
It.
And the fact that they just go, we'll come back in a bit.
Yeah,
it's nothing to them.
Yeah,
it is barely nothing. This is just business as usual.
Yeah,
it's another fucking job, and that is it. And that is the kind of the cold, harsh truth of the West for me in that ending. And
Loco is the only character. I figured Loco is the only character that actually sticks to his morals. Because he never draws first. Because when Silence gets killed, the woman who hired him, who became the love interest, she comes over and immediately pulls out a gun to try and shoot him, and Loco shoots her.
Yeah.
He waits for her to shoot her.
So
Loco is the only one.
So
the villain of the piece is the only one that follows his own moral trajectory.
So if anything, he's almost the hero of the piece.
In a really horrifically dark way of looking at it. Yes, he is.
In the most negative light possible.
But like you were saying there before I rudely interrupted.
No, of course.
That is the nature of the true West.
Yeah.
It was that dark. It was that violent. It was that horrific. If you had a bounty on your head, somebody was going to kill you. Even if you didn't mean to do something, they were going to kill you.
Yeah. And I think there seems to be a running. I don't know how religious like Corbucci was, but there seems to be this running idea of kind of martyrdom in both films.
Yeah.
And not only that, along with that martyrdom comes the damaging of both hands, which brings to me images of the stigmata and Christ.
I didn't even think about that.
And that, again, they're doing the right thing, but they're being sacrificed. Again, these guys are Italian.
Yeah.
It's almost like blatantly there for me that both characters.
Well, the repercussion of this film is that it tells you at the end is like, as a result of this massacre, the rules of bounty killers were changed.
Yes.
It became something less desirable. They didn't no longer wanted to do it this way. They wanted to have policing and sheriffs to, to take people alive and to punish them appropriately.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is literally what it says at the end of the film.
Yeah, there's a kind of page of text. But also, that goes right back to the beginning of the film, where he's inspired by people like JFK, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Like, the Civil Rights Act, proper came into effect once Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King died. Yeah. Like, that's when it was. Then went, fuck, yes, we need to make a move on this. This needs to happen. This needs to be actioned.
Yeah, I mean, you could even argue that what's recently been happening as well. As awful as it is, the Black Lives Matter movement is in response to something so horribly tragic that should never have happened.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And I think that this film, again, even though it's 50 years old, even though it didn't get released till the 90s due to the extreme violence and the bleakness, no doubt, of the end, it's still very topical. Still falls into a lot of things that we've talked about today with the pandemic and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, brutality.
A lot of westerns, people think, westerns are old hat and they're outdated and stuff.
I disagree entirely.
I think westerns are fantastic and hold a mirror up to society forever and always will. No matter, it might not be as brutal or as bloodthirsty, but there is still those elements in the world, and things like that still do happen. Yeah, regardless. Right, so that was the Great Silence. Let's have a quick toilet break, and then we'll come back and we will do the final comparison. It might be a one-horse show, but we'll see.
Oh, well, who knows?
Who knows? Let's find out.
Let's see if it's as ambiguous as anything else.
See you in a little while, guys.
Django, have you always been alone?
Okay, so we're back for the Clone Wars results.
Yes, we are.
So we've
Where
discussed...
did you go?
Where did I go?
I don't even know where I went then. When is this weird space in between podcasts?
Space that doesn't exist. The moral space between our
The
actions.
space between spaces where they're going to remake The Last Jedi and
no!
The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, no!
Fans were upset. Oh dear. Oh well, what are we going to do? No. We're going to spend billions making another one. I don't think so.
No, just
Somehow.
enjoy The Mandalorian.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's because we're getting a Snyder cut, I think. I think it is because we're getting that. Because we're getting that. All the fanboys are like, we won. So now we want everything that we never
what's
got.
concerning about this, the Rise of Skywalker rumour, is because they established something in Rebels, a TV show, a cartoon TV show, whereby a character went into sort of like the nether realm of the Force and pulled a character from the past to save them.
Into the future.
Yeah, thus altering history in a way.
Time. Okay.
So there's a lot of things saying, oh, well, they could do that. They could go into the nether realm.
Back? Did they go back into time? Or?
No, the character came forward into the present. You know, it's highly suggested that she gets killed by Vader.
Right.
But this character gets pulled forward into the present, thus never being killed by Vader.
Right. Okay. So arguably creating another timeline.
Exactly. So that's what that's where these rumours are coming from. But they're only rumours. You know, I think created by really, like ultra hardcore. I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan.
I mean, I can tell looking around the room.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're being stared at by a lot of collectibles
and helmets, figures,
a lot of stuff. But
a lot of stuff.
I don't buy into any of it. I think just leave it as it is. I didn't like the Rise of Skywalker. No. I really didn't like it. But just leave it, accept it, move on to the next project, and see where it goes.
I think so. I think like I'm always more interested in Star Wars stuff that doesn't link to the Skywalkers.
Yes,
because
I think I'm leaning to that way as well.
So much good like legacy stuff that's no longer canon, which is all good. And again, I feel like a lot of people think because we've had so much Skywalker shit, people are like, "Well, you're born into the Force," and it's not true.
No, it's not, because there's evidence to suggest otherwise.
Yeah.
So
even in The Last Jedi, you've got that little kid sweeping up, who's Force positive, sensitive. Boyega's like a clone or one-off family or what have you.
Yeah.
There's potential there to grow and to adjust. That's why I was quite excited when they announced that the director of Last Jedi was doing his own trilogy. Separate. Yeah. I thought that sounds like a good idea.
There's a lot of separate other directors coming up now, like Taika Waititi, and you've got Jon Favreau, who's in charge of the Mandalorian stuff. There's a lot to be hopeful for the future. I know we're not quite on the topic of westerns at the minute, boys and girls.
Go back to Star Wars.
Apologies for that. It's
but
my fault.
we did talk about westerns and in relation to Star Wars, so that's fine.
So there's a lot to look forward to. I think.
Oh, good.
I think it's just a case of
waiting.
Let it go.
Yeah, let go, move on.
You can still not like it. I don't like it.
Even after Rise of the Skywalker came out, people were like, you know what, Last Jedi was actually okay. And there was so much hate at the time for Last Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those very few people that liked The Last Jedi, but unfortunately it was soured for me because of The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. I just didn't agree with any of the bullet points of the film. I didn't agree with the story. I didn't agree with the direction at all. So, but I'm mature enough. I did my review on it. I hate it.
Yeah,
don't like it. But now I want to move on because I love Star Wars. So
the future. It looks if they're going to continue with the TV shows and the way the TV shows are, looks very positive.
But again, I do think it depends on the creatives involved. And with something so successful as The Mandalorian, you need to look at who's behind that and get them involved in it.
Am I right in saying somebody... Is it Filoni?
Yeah, Filoni, he was in charge of like the Clone Wars and Rebels to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's clear there where the quality lies.
Yeah.
And Jon Favreau has obviously taken over who did Iron Man.
Iron Man 2. To a lesser degree.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, he's a big...
Yeah.
Big talent, and he's got a lot of love, and there's legs to the Star Wars franchise. I think we still need to see them, spread their wings and their legs.
Yeah,
spread their legs, maybe not spread their legs. Maybe we'll edit this out. Maybe not.
Stop spreading the legs
Stop
of the
spreading
Skywalker saga. I mean, a lot of people would say that's what's happened.
Yeah.
They spread the legs of the Skywalker saga and completely
And
fucked it up. But, that's
Fucked
to
it.
your interpretation.
Fucked it totally in the ass.
I would agree to a certain extent, but let's move on.
Anyway,
So-
westerns. Do you remember them? Remember those 2 westerns we were talking about? So
I've got an image of Luke Skywalker in my head now that I need to get out. I'm sat here wearing a t-shirt with an X-Wing on it, and I'm imagining
God.
Luke Skywalker spread eagles.
literally,
Oh God!
surrounded by every Star Wars
Mark
bit of
Hamill.
memorabilia we can actually think of.
Mark Hamill, I'm
poor
so
Mark
sorry.
Hamill. Oh no! Is it the Wampa? Is it the Wampa that's doing it? He's doing the horrible act. He's taking his severed arm and using it.
Oh, that's enough. That's enough.
Anyway, talking about
Star Wars.
talking about dark and bleak things, back to the 2 films. So this is the point, supposed to be the point where we compare them. So let's get on with that. Right, so comparison.
Well, I think I said it straight away when we started talking about The Great Silence.
Yeah.
I prefer The Great Silence.
Okay, so we're going to break it down.
Yes,
we're going to break
we
it
are,
down. I agree. I prefer The Great Silence, but let's break it down in all the categories we have as per usual.
Oh, good.
So we have, first of all, we have writing. So what did you think of the writing to Django in comparison to The Great Silence?
So the writing for Django, it does feel quite choppy at places. I don't know whether that's because the dubbing just isn't right or whatever.
Yeah.
Mixed signals,
Lost in translation.
Yeah, lost in translation. That's what I was thinking. And lost in translation, I think that might have had an effect more than anything. But the whole film feels a lot more choppier.
Yeah.
Some set pieces, they're in the wrong place.
It's not streamlined at all.
No, it's not. It's not, and it feels like bombastic, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But when you look at The Great Silence, everything it's poetic from the beginning to last.
It's a saga.
Even though The Great Silence is difficult to keep track of at first.
Yeah, of course,
because literally it throws you in. It throws you in, and there's all this stuff happening. And you're like, oh God, I can't quite grasp it.
Yeah.
I mean, I rewound it a couple of times just to
me
get
too.
a grasp on what I'd missed, because I did miss things immediately. But the writing in The Great Silence is much more streamlined. It's much more
Agreed.
pointing towards that ending, and it plays. The thing with the script with The Great Silence is it knows when to shut up.
Yes, absolutely. It knows when to be silent.
Yes. And those moments, like we talked, those moments when he's flicking the match into the glass, nothing is said. In the first instance, he picks the match out the glass, chucks it on the table, goes to take a drink, and then the cigar comes in. And he's like, and only then does something get said. That is a mark of good scripting and good directing. Whereas in Django... Bless you indeed. Oh, here we go.
Again. Whoa.
What the hell? It's like you're out in the cold there. Are you in the Great
I
Silence?
feel like definitely. I'll be anything but silent now.
But there's nothing wrong with Django.
No.
It's just...
Not as good.
Yeah, it's just not as good. It's not as clean and as clinical in terms of writing, because it feels like it has to fill in the blanks too much.
Like I said earlier, I think it's 3 set pieces loosely tied together by scripting. I'll be honest, it does feel like a little bit... I think the problem with Django is it's limited by budget, and you can see it's limited by budget just by looking at it. Cinematography-wise, visually, makeup, costuming, you name it.
Yeah.
It's limited by budget.
Which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. It's a fine film. It's an excellent film. But I think the script does feel like a rip-off, like a semi-rip-off of Fistful of Dollars. Because you've got...
Which came... Did Fistful of Dollars come first?
Fistful of Dollars.
Didn't it?
For a few dollars more... The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. So Fistful of Dollars is a loose remake of Yojimbo, which is the Kurosawa, the samurai Japanese film. And it's somebody rides into town and pits 2 rival gangs against each other.
Yeah.
Which is effectively what Django does in this.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Not as
clever or
as directly.
Yeah.
They're not directly combating each other or anything like that. But the person who's manipulating them, the gunman or the swordsman, comes out in the end.
Yeah.
Eventually on top because of all the things they've done. They outsmarted the 2 groups. So that's kind of what I feel about this. And it's fairly predictable. Like, there's nothing that surprising.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. That's the key, isn't it? Because the Great Silence is that shocking and that surprising. It does take away from Django because there is nothing like that. Exactly. As brilliant as Django's ending is, I mean, it is brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a beautiful ending.
Great film.
It's a beautiful ending, and the film really is great. Really is a great film. You know, it's easily for me an 8 out of 10 movie.
Definitely.
But The Great Silence just has that little bit more, has that more panache, that more, you know, that polish. I think that's the main thing. In the scripting, it's polished. Like I said, it knows when to shut the fuck up and let the scene do the talking. Let this for an awful pun, let the silence do the talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Though it's right. You're totally right. For me, as well, I think I said this earlier, that I don't think the script has anything to say.
No, it doesn't.
Other than, this is a Western, this is a gunfight, this is the hero, you know, quote-unquote hero.
This is why he's doing it.
This is why he's doing
blah,
it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Also, I felt like Django had so much exposition.
Yeah.
Like, where we see Silence, we see his tragic backstory in full colour. You know, as depicted. One beautiful sequence, amazing sequence. We hear, oh yeah, my ex-girlfriend died.
Yeah, and that's to do with budgetary, I think.
Exactly.
Isn't it? They just
clearly, it's clearly a budgeting thing. They've had the locations. They've gone, these are the locations. This is what we need. Yeah. End of budgetary constraints, which is fine. But that does affect the story. It's a lot of show me, don't tell me. Yeah. You know, we want that.
Exposition is the crime of cinema, isn't it? Sometimes, I mean, sometimes it works brilliantly where somebody does explain something and you go, "My God, that changes everything." I mean, let's go. Empire. You don't need to see Luke being birthed and Anakin being there. I mean, we get that in the prequels, but as soon as he says, "I am your father," you go, "Oh, fucking hell!"
Of course, and
that is a form of exposition. The way he's like, "No, I am your father. Yeah. You killed him. You killed my father." And he goes, "No, I'm your father." I'm your father. That's a form.
It's not like, let me tell you the whole story.
But it's done perfectly. So. Yeah, with Django, it is literally just like, this happened, and then that happened, and I did that.
Oh, I remember you. We were in prison together. Let's be friends. Yeah. They don't show us his history. They don't pepper it.
We'll go and do this. We'll go and do this heist because we were good at doing that heist. Yeah, we worked out together.
Yeah, we were going to say we were going to do it, but yeah. Or again with the main female lead, she goes, she betrayed this. She betrayed this gang for this gang, and all this sort of stuff. And again, it's budgetary constraints, which is unfortunate, but it does affect the film and the writing of the film. So I'm going to personally give this point to Silence.
Absolutely.
And you as well?
Without a doubt. I think it's difficult to really judge it because obviously Silence is purely in Italian with subtitles.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard.
So it is interesting. I'd be interested to see how much is the same or different watching Django with purely Italian dialogue and subtitles.
That would be beneficial, I think. I would like to rewatch it with you.
But that's a moot point at this point, isn't it? We're judging them by how we've seen them and we've seen them as they are.
This was the only way we could view them, really. Given
legally.
Yeah, legally. This is the only way we could have found a way to view them. So we've done that, and that's fine. So writing I have to give to definitely to Silence. So
yes.
You're the same. So moving on to acting. What did you think of the acting of the two films?
I loved Franco Nero. I think he had it spot on. Yeah. I think it was perfect. Like I said, that moment at the end of the film where he's struggling to get the pistol on that cross, he's trying to get its position perfectly. Brilliant. It's really brilliant. The minutiae that he had, with the way he was looking, what he was doing, how he was trying to do it.
He's got a great look as well. Like this,
he does.
Those crystal blue eyes he has. Like I said, very attractive man. Like if I was that way inclined, he could stick his Gatling gun in my coffin any time of the week. But
for me, just the way that the characters are in The Great Silence. Loco does exactly the same things as Franco Nero. He's it's all about the eyes, the looking.
Again, but like crystal blue eyes.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of Western films where it is all about the eyes. Once Upon a Time in the West, it's the eyes. Yeah. Charles Bronson, eyes in that film.
The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Yeah. There's the close-up of each of them during the Mexican standoff with the eyes.
It's kind of a cheat, but at the same time, you can't establish that cheat unless you have the character there, if you have the performance there already. So with Loco, in The Silence, the performance is there already because he's a bit sort of like aloof, if you like. He's sort of like, I don't care. I'll do it this way. You can't draw your gun because if you do it first, then you're in trouble. Yeah. And his performance is very much like that. There's loads of sequences like everybody's like, but you can't do that, and he goes, well, take it easy. I'll take it easy. I'll do it this way.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to leave him out in the snow. It draws it back, so it's not like in your face. I'm a villain. I'm a bad guy. It's not like going.
It's not like stabbing someone or licking the knife. It's not over the top,
it is
ridiculous.
it is very much slow and thoughtful. And then obviously you get Silence, who is very much the performance there. And it's a great performance.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It must have been a difficult performance to do, not being able to speak or convey messaging across. So everything he does again is with the eyes.
Yeah.
The way he responds quickly, pulling out his weapon, when he needs to. I think that's why he's got the Mauser pistol, because it's much more
bam, bam, bam.
super fast, and it just shows how quick a gunslinger he is.
Even that scene with the potatoes, they're throwing potatoes in the air, and he takes them all out.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic.
But again, even like the female character, there he goes.
Go again.
The female character is much better drawn out. It's much better.
She's a better conceived female character.
Yeah.
Like the prostitute in Django, it's not. She's kind of there.
Yeah, but the performance doesn't really give anything to it.
But this character, her drive. She doesn't really have a drive or a need or a desire other than just staying alive in Django. But in The Great Silence, Pauline's character, that goes to show. I remember Pauline's name. I don't remember the Django's female character.
That's a really good point, actually.
I can't honestly think of her name. I can't remember when they even mentioned her name. It might have been
I'm sure they did.
It begins with an M, maybe. Doesn't matter. Because the better performance, the better character, the better acted performance, again, better written as well, is The Great Silence. And she has drive. She wants revenge. She doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And even the other kind of prostitutes and women of the town are all like...
Yeah.
They're all very strong, all really good.
Yeah, they are, because that one woman who's trying to slow down Loco from coming in and finding them...
Yeah.
Again, it showcases Loco's resolve. She draws first.
Yeah.
And then he takes her out.
Yeah.
But she's a very strong woman. She's like, you'll not get in. You will never find them. And he goes, okay then. And then she goes, I'm going to shoot you. And then he blows her away.
Even like when Pauline, she needs to sell a house. She needs to pay Silence to do this. Goes to Polycut, who's a fucking awful guy.
Yeah.
And he's a proper lech. And he says, I don't need your money. I just want to basically have sex with you.
Yeah.
And she says, no, that's absolutely not. That's no matter how much I want this revenge, I'm not doing that for you. And that's great. And there's a lot of westerns where the character would just go, okay, this is the way it is. This is the way of the world. I'm just going to have to let him have sex.
But again,
with me.
for me, that's like a marker of a good Western. So Once Upon a Time in the West, the female character in that, she's a prostitute. She's a whore, if you like. But she marries into a wealthy man who has this really decent plot of land.
Yeah.
He gets killed before she even gets there. And all through the film, she plays the major male characters against themselves. She basically uses her body to get what she wants in the end, but she's shrewd enough and smart enough to say, well, it's just flesh.
Yeah.
I have the marker on this land. I know what it's worth.
Yeah.
My flesh doesn't matter because my mind is stronger than these men and their perceived realities. That is for me, that is a brilliant marker for a great Western. And it happens here in The Silence. That woman, she knows exactly what she wants. Unfortunately for her, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't end.
It fails. It ends up in her death. But the journey that she has is a strong journey, a journey where she knows exactly, she can see the outline, she can see the ending.
Yeah. And
she wants to make it work.
But...
yeah, it doesn't happen.
Tragically, nothing quite goes right for any of the characters.
No, it doesn't. No, not at all.
I do have to mention. I think it's Fred Wolf again as the sheriff. I really love his performance in The Silence.
Great performance.
Because he's the only guy for me that is genuinely trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
throughout the entire film, he's like, and he's not he's not what you would deem like a good sheriff. He's
that
like
in the middle, isn't it? So
Yeah.
like, I can do the right thing, but I'm not always going to do the right
and he's a
thing.
bit clumsy and he's unlucky and and he's very fallible.
Yeah.
But that kind of made me he was endeared to me more because of that. And when he loses his life, and we didn't discuss this earlier, but the alternate ending, one of the alternate endings, there was two alternate endings. One was more ambiguous about what would happen to Silent, Pauline, and the rest of the bandits. So it's kind of left up to your own device of what you decide happens. But there's a happy ending where Fred Wolf, who gets shot, falls into the ice, comes out of the ice, comes back, rescues everybody. Everyone's saved, and then he's like, "Hey, Silence, do you want to be my deputy?" And Silence just kind of smiles, as in like, "Yes, I'll be your deputy." Which, again, most people hate that ending, and I do as well because
it's ridiculous.
Just sounds stupid.
It is a ridiculously sounding ending.
Yeah, but he was forced to film it. I think it was very much like a Blade Runner type ending where they were like, do it as shit as possible.
Yeah.
And then we won't actually use this ending.
Yeah, Jesus, because fuck me, there's so many endings in Blade Runner. It's unreal.
We won't even get into that right now.
No, we won't be
This
fucked.
podcast is long enough without that.
I mean, you could do an entire podcast on Blade Runner's endings.
Just the endings alone. But yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, because obviously the director was like, no, this is the right ending.
This is
This is the right ending for it. And it is quite sad when the sheriff dies. Because it's literally like, I did expect him to come back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, he's in, Loco's going, well, he's in the ice, isn't he? And I was like, is he?
Yeah. Could he crawl
and
out?
he doesn't come back. And it's like, that's the harsh reality of it, isn't it? This is it. This is it.
Like, to be fair, if I fell in the ice, I probably would be.
Yeah, but that's because even if he got out the ice, it's exposure.
Exactly.
So he's going to die of exposure.
Yeah. Before he even gets to the thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's because it takes him out to the middle of nowhere, doesn't it? Well, it's literally like he's out there. There's no way he can literally survive it.
No, it's absolutely not. One of my favourite facts about the film, actually, was that when they weren't filming in the big kind of vistas with all the snow and stuff, in snow hills in the town, they covered everything in shaving foam. Like gallons of shaving foam to give the appearance of snow. I can't even imagine how minty that must have smelt.
Even if it was minty, you don't even know what shaving foam was like back then.
Oh yeah, true. Could have been anything.
Riddled with arsenic.
Oh God!
Depleted uranium shells.
Who knows? But yeah, I think the acting. Again, I think it's just stronger in Silence.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I mean,
just
you only have to look at that standoff sequence.
Yeah.
Where nothing is said. You got the music and everything. It doesn't factor in, but the acting is stronger because they don't have to say anything. You can see it in their emotion of the way they're playing it.
Yeah.
You know, those small moments. The small moments are what work best in the silence. Apart from obviously the ultra violence.
Yeah.
That's where the acting comes into it because it is literally just play into the moment. Like the match goes into the drink, he takes that look out the side of his eye. Yeah. That's acting.
Yeah.
It's not about how they pronounce the lines for me a lot of the time. It's literally, what they do in that situation, what the actor does in that situation.
Let's talk about it this way. I don't know Italian. You don't know Italian.
No, I don't. No, of course.
We're trying to read these subtitles as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. But those are the moments that stick with you. The moments where it's not all exposition and dialogue. It's the moments where it's just, you know what the character wants. You
can see it.
Yeah. You don't need to. You don't need to know it. You can tell.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because we can just tell everything.
Definitely.
That's the true acting. In the piece, and that's why Silence gets my vote.
Yep.
Gets your vote.
Definitely.
For acting. So moving on to the next category, music.
Oh. Yeah, it has to be the Silence.
Yeah.
The great Silence.
I agree as well.
Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, not a bad score by the gentleman who scored Django. It does fit the piece.
Yes.
It fits that type of film. It fits the style. It fits the bombasticness.
It does. It really does.
But
the soundtrack was done by Luis Bacalov, I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was, anyway. Yeah, conducted by Luis Bacalov.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't recognise that name at all.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with his work either. But it is a good score. It is a great score for Django, but it is a predictable score. It is a score I have heard again very similar 1,000 times before in spaghetti westerns or revisionist westerns. I've heard it.
Because it has its own theme tune at the start.
Yeah.
Django.
Django. Yeah, exactly.
And it's very structured based upon the theme.
Yeah.
The theme of the character, which isn't a bad thing at all.
No.
But with The Great Silence, what is so brilliant about Ennio Morricone is that he blends all aspects of a film within the score to the point where the score does become its own character. It does become its own theme. It feels like we're almost shitting on Django.
No, we're not.
Fair,
we're absolutely not. But
it's the sheer difference in the quality of production from Django to The Great Silence.
Absolutely.
It just shows how quickly things were moving in the Western genre. In the space of 2 years, Sergio Corbucci has developed and evolved from Django into The Great Silence.
And again, Django is no slouch of a film. Django
Absolutely
is a great
not.
film.
It's a fucking great film.
A great western.
It has some great moments in it.
Yeah. It's
Great
fun.
acting in it.
It's brilliant film. If you're just after a straightforward spaghetti western, Django's your go-to.
Yeah.
If you're after something a bit more deeper and something that will probably linger with you.
Yeah.
And subvert every established trope and theme and everything within the genre. Even like going back to Ennio Morricone, this is not a typical Ennio Morricone score. This is not a typical western score.
It's very haunting.
That is what makes it.
Yeah,
Again,
definitely.
The whole film is subverting what westerns can be.
Yeah.
Everything about it, down to the writing, the acting, the directing, it's all turned on its head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is what makes it. And Ennio Morricone is on his best days fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is, like we said, easily one of his best scores.
Yeah.
Again, I've never heard it before. This is the first time I've ever watched it, but easily I can say it's in easily his top 3 scores, and I've heard a lot of his fair bit of his work.
I've heard. He did. What did he do? What did it say on the news when it announced he passed away? Like 500?
Was it
500 scores?
Jesus,
I think that might be slightly over, but between 300 and 500 scores that he'd done, which is ridiculous.
They even used Tarantino. Even used some of his unused stuff. On the Hateful Eight stuff from previous films that he ended up never using. They just kind of threw that in, which is incredible,
it's unbelievable.
I tell you, actually, one of the films I looked at on the podcast was scored by him, which is Orca, which is like the Jaws exploitation rip-off.
Yeah, that's just it. He's done brilliant scores for really terrible films, and he's done brilliant scores for really brilliant films. There's
a lovely like whale love song in it.
Yeah,
and again, I wouldn't know how to write a whale love song, but he slams it, he smashes it.
I said earlier on about like the man with the harmonica in Once Upon a Time in the West, and it's sort of like it's less like a harmonica. It doesn't sound too much like a harmonica, but it's the reverberations that he creates with that score that creates a character theme which is very haunting and it's really shrill, and it's like it underpins an uncertainty with the character, with the film, with the direction of the film, the story as well. And that's what happens with The Great Silence. The score provides like an uncertainty about what's going to happen. You're not quite sure what to think, because there are no individual themes. There are no this is the hero, that kind of thing. It is very much like this is going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's
unpredictable.
Yeah, the unpredictable nature of his score feeds into the film, and the film feeds into his score as well.
Absolutely,
it's such a mutually
beneficial.
Yeah,
it's incredible how a film can be married so well to a score.
Yeah.
And
that's the beauty of Ennio Morricone. He could do that. He did it with the gangster film, Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah.
He did it with The Thing. Even though of course John Carpenter put his own themes and whatever into it.
He did. I think Carpenter did all the electronic stuff.
But it that's the beauty of Ennio Morricone. He is able to, put something in that really enhances the film.
Yeah.
and then likewise be enhanced by the film. It's a rare talent. There's only a few composers and directors that can get that. Obviously, you got Hans Zimmer and Christopher Nolan. You could argue they're the same thing.
Yeah,
they have that connection.
You like Spielberg, maybe John Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then John Williams and George Lucas. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the connective tissues that influence each other rather than this is the score.
Yeah. I'll just slap that on the film. That's it.
Which is what Django kind of feels like in a way. It feels like it was put on afterwards rather than being sort of like connected to.
And again, I don't feel like as original as Django is, I don't think it's original enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. The opening theme, even though they use it in Django Unchained, Django, you know, for me it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I love it, but it doesn't fit. It just doesn't sit.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, it's a bit more pulpy than I kind of want it to be.
It does scream kind of Italian exploitation. Yeah. And that type of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Again.
Which is probably perfect for that film.
Absolutely, yeah. But in comparison to The Great Silence, which in my mind is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Of the Western genre. It's a masterpiece film. And you just can't. Yeah, it's so hard to compare. It's almost sad that I have to compare these two films.
Yeah, they're both
great,
crime, isn't it?
But one of them is vastly greater than the other.
Yeah, but that is a testament to the director's evolution.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
There's nothing.
We're not taking anything away, which is
we're not
criticizing.
You know, for the sake of criticizing. It's literally just like the way I see it is like I can see the different. I can see the craft.
We can see the evolution of everything. Yeah. Of all his work, his cinematography, everything he's done. Speaking of cinematography, that is next as the category, and I think I'm again going to give it to Silence because I think when I think of Django, I just think of a muddy town and a bit of desert and the sound and the sand pit, the quicksand.
Yeah.
Those are the only things I can really think of.
And you got the initial establishing shot when he's
it's great. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You've got the vast scape of the Utah-looking environment, don't you? But
again,
it's notoriously difficult to film in snow.
Yes,
because you got the whiteout and everything like that. So on that basis alone, cinematography wins because there's no instances in The Great Silence where you go, I can't see shit.
Yeah.
Because it's scoped and filmed that perfectly that you can see absolutely everything at every single moment.
There's very little kind of wide, all-encompassing shots in Django. Yeah. It's basically, the shot is on the action.
Yeah.
Wherever that is, the shot is going to be on the action.
It's dead tight.
Yeah.
Really, really claustrophobic almost.
You're in the action. Again, not a bad thing for that movie.
Perfect for the character because you're literally following that character as he's
jumping around and there's people getting shot all around him and he's shooting different people. Absolutely. For that film, for the context of that film, fantastic. Not bad. However, pales in comparison to the gorgeous looking Great Silence. It just is a beautiful film. It's haunting. Again, the haunting visuals, the cold, blank, slate, the tabula rasa we have, that we just see everything, the starkness of the landscape.
Because you get loads of establishing shots in that film, in The Great Silence, and no two look the same. They all look different. It's almost like they went, we'll go and film
that mountain
30 miles north and try and make it look, try and keep it. So it because it is that exposed and that vast. Even if you just tilted the camera, it's it's a completely new scenario. It's a completely different environment altogether, but you still have the underpinning of the snow and the desolation of the snow.
And like you were saying, that it looks every shot looks totally different.
Yeah.
Like, how hard must that be with all that snow to make it look that different?
Yeah.
That, separate from the previous shot.
Yeah.
But they succeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely succeed.
To film in snow, you need to have correct white balance and all that shit.
God.
And there's no single moment where you go, I can see where they're fluffing here.
Yeah.
Not one single moment. It is literally spot on right the way through. And I should really know who the cinematographer was for it.
Yeah, so should I. I should know the cinematographer.
Because it's literally just brilliant.
Yeah.
The craft of it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I don't really know
what else can you say.
Exactly.
What else can we say?
On that alone, I don't really know what else to say because Even like the framing of the shootout and what happens at the very end. It's very
even in the saloon, like Great Silence is again in the saloon in the Great Silence. It feels like a saloon. In Django, it feels like a set.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
it is clearly a set.
That's a really, really good point. To be fair,
and even the costuming is brought to you can see the faults in the costuming due to the cinematography.
Yeah,
but again, fair play to it. It's the budget. Yeah. It's a budgetary thing.
So I've just found that the cinematography was by somebody called Silvano Ilpolti.
Okay.
For the Great Silence. I'm not sure if that is the same gentleman. No. So for Django, it was Enzo Barboni.
Okay.
But obviously, I don't know too much about them. But for basis, there you go.
So if you want to look up those cinematographers, because they're both...
So clearly Sergio Corbucci made a change.
Yeah. And I think that was a good move, I think. He's obviously seen the cinematographer's work and gone, this is what I need for this particular film. Now, the next, I feel like we discussed this already, but...
So we're going for the Great Silence there, aren't we?
So the next topic is direction. The next category is direction, but I think we've talked about the direction anyway. This is a home run for the Great Silence, absolutely.
Yeah, purely because it is literally a continuing evolution of his craft. I mean, exactly. I've said that several times already, but for me, that's what it is. It's literally like Django was brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But the Great Silence is that next step. It's that step into masterpiece territory. You've got Batman Begins, which is Django. You've got The Dark Knight, which is the Great Silence.
Absolutely.
It's that step into masterpiece territory.
What a great parallel to make. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think Django is great because it sticks rigidly to the formula.
Yes.
That is the spaghetti western that we know as the spaghetti western. And it plays... it adds new elements. It twists things a little bit. Turns it this way, turns it that way.
Yeah, the Gatling cannon is the clear example of that.
Exactly, and that whole massacre of the Red Hood gang. But the Great Silence takes the entire genre, all of its tropes, everything about it, music, setting, characters, writing, you name it, themes, everything, and just flips it.
Absolutely.
Entirely flips it and opens up this new level of deconstruction of the Western genre. What it could be, what it can be, what it should be, and all these kind of political themes and allegories that he put within it has only made this film greater. This, for me, easily comes in my top 3 Westerns ever. I've not seen that many, but I've still seen a good few.
Yeah.
And I easily would put it in at least top 3, if not top 5, of great Westerns.
I'm there on the top 5 thing.
Yeah. I think it's definitely for me. I'd need to look at my list again, but I think it's definitely up there for great Westerns. I think if you're a fan of Westerns in general, even if you're a fan of just cinema, Italian cinema, spaghetti westerns, whatever, I think you owe yourself to see The Great Silence. Even just as a filmmaker or somebody wanting to get into film or a film fan, I would just go out and see The Great Silence if you can find it. Again, it's going to be a bit tricky to find, but it is worth the hunt. Trust me. Even if you've got like a region-free DVD player, maybe you can get one from abroad, a DVD.
Yeah, just make the effort.
Worth it. Well worth it. No matter how much that costs, go and do it. Again, Django is a lot of fun. Available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
If you just want a straightforward Western, bombastic, fun, is what it is. If you want something in vein with the kind of Sergio Leone stuff, I would go with that. But if you're looking for something entirely different and something, game changing, you go with The Great Silence.
That's what it is. It's a game changer for the genre in every sense of the word. And this is why I think this is the only. Other than the Clone Wars I did for what I did with Dan about Trick or Treat and Tales of Halloween, I think this is the only other one that has just wiped the board. Clean. Just that's it. Yeah. That is the clear winner. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Fantastic. Yes.
Wow, that was a hell of a discussion.
It certainly was. We've been going on there for a while, haven't we?
We certainly have. It's a long one, but it was well worth it,
Yes,
and it's some juicy stuff.
We could just carry on talking about it. That's the brilliance of both the films.
Yeah.
We could just carry on talking about the influences they've made, on Western genre in itself. They really are really good films.
Both of them, and I feel a bit guilty that we've had to compare them. However,
yeah, I must admit I do. As we were discussing further of it, I was like, I know where this is going. We're going to whitewash.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to completely do Django in. We're not even going to give it a look in. But
however, when we were discussing Django, like I came in thinking, Django wasn't really as good. But the more we discussed Django, the more I went, no, actually, I really enjoyed Django.
Yeah,
that's really, really.
That's the thing. I feel like I have to sort of like make that distinction very clear. Django is a really, really good film.
Yeah.
To be fair, Django Unchained, I think I prefer Django 1966.
Really? Wow.
I think I do.
Wow. Okay,
compared to Tarantino's Django Unchained.
Wow. Okay, that's
I
a big
really
statement.
do because I can see the honesty in the craft.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Django Unchained isn't honest or anything.
No.
But I can see the influences of Django, 1966 Sergio Corbucci film.
Yeah.
The influences that had in the rough cut of it.
Yeah.
Is there. That influenced Sergio Corbucci to create The Silence. It probably forced many more Western films where they did kind of like, ultra-violence is the way and things
let's
like that.
Let's try that. Yeah.
Things like that. Even Tombstone, to a degree, I'd say take some bombastic elements from Django, because Tombstone is a very bombastic film. There's a lot of hardcore shootouts and whatever. There's a lot of flailing about and things like that.
There's a lot of like gambling scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the characters are completely antagonized by each other.
Yeah,
no guns are being pulled and stuff.
Exactly.
It's all about the eyes.
Yeah, that's the thing. The influences of Django you cannot underestimate.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I want to make abundantly clear is that even though we have sided with The Great Silence completely, it is just a better film.
Yeah.
It's a much more well-crafted, well-rounded, well-directed film. It just is in every single aspect.
He's clearly learned from Django.
Yeah.
And become a better storyteller, filmmaker, because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And if you didn't have Django, you would not have The Great Silence.
Absolutely.
I think
that's the best kind of, the nicest thing we can say about Django. Django is a great film. 8 out of 10, like you say. 8 out of 10. Easily 8 out of 10.
Definitely 8 out of 10.
Great Silence, 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
It has to be a 10 out of 10.
For me, it is. If I was to do one of my angry reviews right now, it would literally be a solid fucking 10 out of 10. It literally would.
You'd be so angry, you were that happy about it.
Well, that's just it. You can get angry all the time, but it's brilliant. It's a brilliant.
To be fair,
film.
for me, anger comes very close to like passion.
That's it. That's the basis of what I do with my reviews. It's not anger. I'm angry at everything. No. It's anger because I'm abundantly passionate and I'm angry about that passion.
Exactly.
So that's where they come from.
And you're passionate. You're passionate about the media and the form of entertainment and the filmmaking behind it.
Exactly.
The idea and the craft itself.
Yeah.
And that's what you really put forward. I still do enjoy the ones where you don't enjoy the film. Those are my favourites. Yeah, those are ones where you're actually angry.
Like Maleficent 2 and Artemis Fowl.
You know what? I kind of have a morbid curiosity about those films now that I need to see them.
Fucking hell. A bit of shameless publicity for myself.
Do it.
Watch my review for Maleficent 2, and if you like that film, don't subscribe. Don't even like the video. Don't even dislike it, just walk away. For God's sake, just walk away, please. Alright. I only have 37 subscribers on my channel anyway. I don't need you. You know what I mean? But oh my god!
Well,
but I do. I
love that you went to sell your You went to sell your YouTube channel, and then you absolutely did not sell your YouTube channel.
I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not really.
I'm an opportunist. I'm a self-promoter. Don't even bother.
I'm less inclined about the subscribers than I am about people finding good films to watch. And if you like Maleficent 2, I don't want to know. To be honest, I really don't. But I do praise a lot of films, so if you, by all means, check out my videos, subscribe to the channel and whatever.
It's Angry Andy Reviews, yeah?
Angry Andy Reviews on YouTube, and it's Andy_reviews on Twitter as well, if you want to follow me on there.
You're quite new on Twitter, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I used to be on Twitter.
Tag you in this.
Yeah, thank you. That would be lovely. But
excellent.
I am very new to Twitter. I used to have it a few years ago, but this, I'm just purely on reviews. And
yes, of course,
collectibles and all that shit.
I also had Twitter, but I deleted it because it was more of my acting Twitter, which I didn't really use. So I was
likewise.
What
a time that was.
Yeah, what a day, what a time, what a life we led.
Yeah.
Which ended very bleakly, much like Silence.
I don't just do reviews. I do like collectible unboxings, things like that. But
I really enjoyed the one where you went in depth about the Evil Dead 2 game and the history behind that and the GoFundMe.
That's actually been my most successful video.
It's good. I like.
I got a message. I got a message as well. I think it's a real message. I don't want to think it, but I got a message. I think from Django Games, who created it, saying they were very appreciative of the video.
Oh, amazing!
But yeah, so
fantastic.
Just shows
it's good.
Anything can happen, really.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar experience when me and Hannah did a podcast.
Yes, it's brilliant. I love this story.
Yeah, on the Anna and the Apocalypse, which is a zombie Christmas musical, and I said, this is going to be a really fun thing, because she said you need to look at more musicals. So I went, I'll look at more musicals. That was the first one I looked at. Bloody loved it. Did it over Christmas, and I thought. And I was struggling because the guests I had, I think you pulled out because I think you were working for one of them. So I had to kind of reshuffle a few things and try and get them all done. And I ended up having to do them all within. I got all the recordings done, but I didn't have the time to get them all out at the same time.
You were just fresh them in, weren't you?
So I had to, because it's a Christmas thing, I was like, I've got to get them out before the end of December. So I got home, I think Christmas Eve, I edited Anna and the Apocalypse, got it out. I tagged the director and the producer in the film, and they listened to the podcast in full Christmas Eve, or Christmas Day, and responded and said, thank you so much for the... I mean, it wasn't really a review, we were just gushing about it.
Yeah, so, well, that's just it, isn't it?
It was just a fun film. Lots of good stuff. Go listen to that podcast. But they appreciated it, and again...
Well, that's all my thing on the game was. I wasn't really reviewing it, even though I put it on as a review. I was literally unboxing it.
Yeah.
And you could look at it, because I've rewatched it. I don't really rewatch my stuff that I do. No. I don't see any benefit in it, but I rewatched it and I went, Christ, I'm literally just surprised about every aspect. And I was when I was opening it.
Positive surprise. It wasn't like, oh no, it's this piece of shit.
Because the history around the Evil Dead 2 game that came out was just completely fucked.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, it was completely fucked. It was all on Kickstarter and it went to shit. I lost money, but getting the game just completely eradicated that, because when I opened it, I went, oh, fucking hell, look at this effort. You didn't need to do this.
Yeah, not only did they provide you the game, they provided all these extras, these cards.
I didn't have to pay anything more than I paid apart from postage, which I still had to pay. Nobody had to pay from the original one.
Nobody had to produce that game.
No, of course they didn't.
Nobody had any responsibility or anything.
They didn't have any responsibility to me as an original backer.
Yeah.
But it happened, and even if it is a real response, that's brilliant. If it's not, I still take it as well, somebody's watched the video and gone, that's a great response.
Exactly.
But it's those little moments, isn't it? You get most joy out of. For me, that's the thing I joke about.
That was the thing. I was like, who the fuck's going to listen on Christmas Eve? Who the fuck is going to listen?
Well, I say that all the time. Who the fuck's going to watch my videos?
Exactly. And I was like, just it's not going to happen. I'm going to put it up, and if I get a listen in the next few days, fair enough. That's pretty cool, but it's not going to. I doubt it's going to happen. I doubt there's going to be much of a response. But again, producer and director said that was great. Thank you for talking about our film,
and rightly so.
Yeah, and it was great. And I didn't expect that, and they listened to it because they said because they said it wasn't a review. Which was I was like, you're right, it's not. I think it was they said assessment or experience behind your film. But I was
those are the most. I think those are the most earnest and honest sort of things when you go in the guise of reviewing something, you don't actually review it.
Yeah.
Instead, you go.
I mean,
you just acknowledge how much enjoyment you had of it.
Very rarely on this podcast. I try to stay in the kind of the positive realm of whatever I see if I can, because I think there's enough negativity out there already.
Well, just look at my stuff.
don't want to steal your. I don't want to steal your niche, Andy. I don't want to steal your niche.
It's not really a niche though. I just put myself through it so you don't have to.
I'm the hero of this story.
Wait,
suffer so you don't.
Yeah, let me watch Maleficent 2. Oh,
I'm the martyr. I'm the martyr. I'm the silence in this. I'm the great silence in this.
I felt like cutting my own face off watching Maleficent 2. I'm not gonna lie. It would have been full martyrdom, wouldn't it? Bloody hell.
But yeah, I think a lot of the things I tend to look at, you know, I am partly fond of, or I will try and find positivity where I can. But yeah, there's a couple that are not great here and there. But again,
you get that in everything, though, don't you?
I'm absolutely so glad I chose these two films.
Yes,
and I'm glad.
You know what? I am as well. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit skeptical at first.
Yeah.
I think I messaged you going,
don't know about these.
Don't think it's gonna work, but
I think they are phenomenal films, and
Yes.
and like usually, you know, some of the films I choose are a bit wobbly, and it's, you know, I love the cult aspect of films, you know, that people love or hate. I love kind of examining them for, you know, I potentially am going to do another Clone Wars about with Dan Keatis about Batman versus Superman taking on as a Clone Wars Captain America Civil War. He would like to do so. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
Well, I'll just put it out there. Say Civil War's better.
Well, I'll hold off on answering until I've re-examined the films. I think he wants to go with the director's cut of BVS as well, so we'll see.
Better though, it's not.
We'll see. You know, only time will tell. You know, reappraisals happen. You know,
They do. I
should see.
I reevaluated my review on The Last Jedi, so they do happen.
They do
They
happen. So we'll see. I think I'll. Oh, I do fancy another Clone Wars. I've done a lot of top fives recently.
I do, but I'm also a bit concerned because these ones worked out so well.
Yes,
I'm concerned.
Concerned about
the
my
next time
ones.
you ask me to do one,
it might not be so good.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Good shit,
but
or shit that's good, like Robo Geisha and the like, because they were actually so shit they were good.
They certainly were.
I just hope you come up with something that isn't shit and shit.
Yes. What is the least shit of the two shits?
What is the least shit of the two shits?
Let's find out. That could happen. Well, maybe I'll give you some options, because I think I do enjoy.
Just lay them on me.
Just lay them on you and see what happens.
I don't want options. Force them upon me, and then I'll go, I hate you. Because that's how you get a better response.
I mean, if you want, do you want like a genre, or do you want to pick like something? I've got a shit ton of big
honestly,
list.
I don't mind.
Okay. I'll bring a couple to your door and see how you feel.
All right, we'll go with that.
And then we'll, do you want to do something a bit more modern? Maybe
I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind.
We'll see.
I don't mind. Surprise!
But yeah, if you don't want to do a Clone Wars, I mean, I'm a little sick of top fives because I've done a lot over lockdown because I was
just the nature of the scenario.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm alone. I might as well just do them, and I was reading a lot of comics, so they tend to be top 5 comics. So yeah, I'd like to maybe step away, or we could do a Secret Defenders or something else, or maybe actually, there's a couple of other kind of podcast ideas that I have in mind. I won't talk now until we kind of get because there's a few versions of the podcast I haven't done yet that I have an idea for.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think it is about time to sign off on this.
I do. We've waffled magically.
Massively waffled.
I love it. I love it.
It looks like 2.5 hours.
Over the
Massive bit of waffle. If you're going to listen, this has been a total waffle for you. But it's good waffle, and it's quality. Two very quality. Like these. I wouldn't even consider these cult classics, but because of the non-release of the films, I think they have slightly become cult.
100%.
But these should be up there with Sergio Leone's, Man with No Name trilogy. Absolutely. Just these two alone. We've not seen The Specialists, but I would definitely be looking for that now after seeing these two. But you can find the podcast and me on Facebook at Secret Boars. Type that into the search bar. Twitter, it's at Dan_Boars. Instagram, it's SpiderDan Secret Boars. And the Secret Boars. No, SpiderDan Secret Boars, sorry. I don't even know. I can't even read. I've been drinking as well.
We have.
We have been drinking.
We have, probably why we've gone on so long.
Can you tell? So the podcast is available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts once again. I have fixed
Thankfully.
it. It is back. Spotify and YouTube, many, many more podcasts. And if you'd like to donate towards the podcast, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Spider-Man and the Secret Balls. And when you interact with us, don't forget to use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle.
Yes.
Right.
Please do.
Please use those hashtags. We love a good hashtag.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
And thank you again for having me in your lovely home in the Angry Andy Reviews HQ.
And if anybody does want to subscribe to my channel, please do. I do want.
He's only got 37. He's only got 37.
I did have 38, so somebody dropped out.
Oh, well. Wasn't me.
So
I'm still listening.
come and find me at Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry
on
Andy
YouTube.
Reviews, fantastic YouTube channel, one of my favourites.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for bringing these films to my attention.
You know what?
Love it.
I'm glad I brought them to my own attention. I'm
Yes.
patting myself on the back.
This
right now.
has been one of my favourite podcasts.
You know, and one of mine. Thank you very much, Andy, for
Thank you.
being a part of it. You are a star. We're going to end it there. All right, goodbye, everyone. Bye!